Hi, I'm Shyfoxx, and today we will be drawing Mimikyu. This is an artwork of mine I'd previously drawn. I'm going to take you through this tutorial step by step so that you can draw it too. So we're going to get started. Now you have two choices. It'll change how we position on the page, so we better decide first. So we can draw Mimikyu with or without the arms going up. If you want to draw with the arms, we're going to need to draw a little smaller and leave more space for the arms to reach upward. And if you want to, of course, not add that, then you're welcome to take up more space. So I will be showing you with the arms. So that means I'm going to start lower down on my page and leave room for arms going up. And if you're drawing without the arms, then you can just kind of more center what we are doing right now. So we need to do two circles to make Mimikyu to start with. One for the head and one for general body. And these two circles are going to be roughly the same size. So I'm going to start my circle about here. Go around a few times, lightly, just so you can get a sense of a round circle, since circles aren't always the easiest to draw. And then you're going to do another circle just below, and this one's going to be overlapping just a little bit and slightly to the left of it, just slightly. So we're trying to do, whoop, that's probably a little too far, that's not slightly. That's why we draw lightly to begin with. So there's a slight to the left. And of course the eraser is going to help us out when we make little errors. Okay. We are going to add a vertical axis that's kind of rounded through Mimikyu's face just to help us position some things, and we can do the same with the body. And we're going to do horizontal for each. So just lightly rough those in. And these are curved as well. This is going to give us a good start. So let's kind of shape in the outside of Mimikyu's head. Starting from the top of the head. Come on down and do a little bump out. Just like that for his cheek. And then go all the way around your circle. You can kind of come out a little bit on the other side to kind of do a cheek, not as big as this bump, but it's just a very slight bump on that side if you like. And leave an open space for the ear. So we're going to do the first ear, and Mimikyu's ears are kind of funny shaped because he's made up of this like material, since he's just imitating Pikachu, right? So do a shape like that where it goes up and then some wobbly edges as it reattaches to the body. And I'm going to add a little detailing in preemptively. And these are going to be like the stitch marks. So I have a line going down closely on the right side of the ear, and a little X and some little lines to show that this ear is stitched on. We're going to do the other one. The other ear. So take a look at that shape. We're going to go up and out. Little blip that way, blip down that way, and an eventual curve down. And if yours isn't quite the same shape, that's okay. Because of what this is, it's rather forgiving to kind of draw Mimikyu's ears, because they can kind of go different directions and have different seemingly material folds, I suppose. So I drew the line coming back this way, and this is a clothing fold. I'm calling it a clothing fold because it's made of material. So a fold there. And then we would like our ear to attach, so right where these all intersect, we can just bring that down. Bring it down wide, so we get the sense that the ear is going like that. And we also need to draw the attachment of the, these are dark, right? The dark ends. And similarly, we're gonna do a line that goes close on, now it's the left edge really, close on the left edge, that is the stitching line. And come down. Add a couple lines and X's, just a few. Don't overdo it. And I wouldn't space them too like evenly apart. It should feel just a little bit random. And if you want to copy the exact placements of mine, you can certainly do that. Great. We can draw in Mimikyu's eyes. And one of my favorite things about Mimikyu is his eyes. Very few characters have eyes that are this fun to draw. So before we actually do the old eye scribble effect, let's just rough in a circle of approximately where we want those eyes to go. So left side, this is sort of elongated circle in this direction. Okay, and then this one is going to be placed over here, and that one's actually going to be a round circle instead. Okay, and if you'll notice, I've placed these just above my axis here, and even you can overlap with that axis. We are definitely better to err on the side of caution and make our eyes lower on Mimikyu's head rather than higher. Okay. And I'm even going to preemptively draw in where the cheeks are going to go, just below each of the eyes. Just draw the circle for one, circle for the other, and the other one is just going to go more towards the edge of the cheek because of the angle of the head, so basically touching the edge of the cheek under the eye. And we can add a squiggly line attaching the mouth. Great. I'm happy with mine. I'm not gonna erase and move anything. If you're like, I don't think my eyes look as the placement, then now is the time to move those. And just a reminder, you can pause the video if you need to, stop and catch up. But I'm happy with these, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the scribble. So it's kind of like a spiral, but we don't want it to look exactly like a spiral. It's a bit scribbly, because that's how it got there. Mimikyu is just scribbling his eyes on. So hopefully I can convey that. And don't worry too much about what it is exactly supposed to look like. It's one of the times where you get to scribble and be a little bit random. Okay, I'm going to make a couple adjustments to Mimikyu's head. I'm going to actually bring it in down a little bit, less rounded on the top, and erase that. And less actually rounded on the bottom too. I'm going to bring in his head up a little higher on the chin. This kind of gives it a more chibi effect, which Mimikyu kind of is like that. Just going to fix it. Awesome. Next bit of detailing we're going to add is a stitching line going down his face here. So this one is going to go down through. Now I'm not following the curve that I drew exactly. I'm coming in closer, and then I'm going to bump outward and down. So I kind of drew mine a little bit dark. I'm going to erase mine and try again. Actually, might be a good idea to erase your axis as well, because you're going to want to go back and erase it eventually. Now might be the right time because we've positioned pretty much everything else. So there we go. And then of course add in your stitching marks. I'm going to do a little X one right kind of where the nose is. So that one's kind of like intentionally placed. And there we go. I'm going to color in the tips of the ears. I say color, but I mean shade. I'm used to saying coloring because I do digital art as well. I turn my sketches into digital artworks, and so I'm always talking about coloring too. Which, now that I guess I mentioned it, if you want to learn about digital art, then I have tutorials on my channel as well about digital art. Okay, let's do his body. Using the guideline of our circle, we're going to come down, and it's kind of, I think, of a bell shape. So we're going to make a bell out of his circle there. And instead of attaching our bell along the bottom, we can plan in, maybe just lightly do this for now, plan in some of the bumps that are part of Mimikyu's outfit. So we're going to do one going there, one on this side going here, and then little bump. Now we are going to have another big bump here, big bump in the middle, big bump here. So there's going to be 5 big bumps, and then 4 little bumps will be in between. So you kind of need to space those. So let's do big bump here, little bump. These are just like rounded, somewhat like pointed triangles, but rounded tips. Big and small. Big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small, big. And we're gonna do ones that show in behind. One there, one here. And we're gonna do the ones that overlap here, here, in between all our bumps, like that. Now we're going to do one of my favorite parts, which is going to be to add in the eyes of Mimikyu's body. Kind of is, I think, the trademark of Mimikyu. So just kind of sending them on the horizontal axis that we did in this area. And now's a good time to erase those guidelines. And we're going to draw a stitching line down the middle again. Add in your stitches. Here we go. Now I'm going to fix something on mine. Sometimes notice things after the fact. I'm just going to make mine a little wider this way. And before we continue, we can color in, I'm saying color again. It's a bad habit. Shade in these sections. The in behind, I like to think, or the underneath overlaps of his fabric and stuff going on here. Awesome. And I'm staring at this some more, and it's totally okay to do this. Maybe yours looks okay and you don't need to make any changes, but you know, it's good to look at mine in this case, or the reference image you're using when you're drawing, and say, I see a difference in that one compared to mine. I'm gonna fix it. So I'm gonna fix this side as well. I'm gonna bring it in a little more. And I think I prefer that look. I do prefer that look. Okay, getting there. All right. Let's draw his little tail, which is a stick. Mimikyu is so cute. All right, right about here, do 2 lines coming out, just nice and short, and follow that up. Just kind of curve up. And the other way, just like a Pikachu tail. But this shape is going to be rather forgiving too. Doesn't have to be exact. So we're going out, up, out, sideways, up a little bit, just a little on this side, longer on this side, and we're going to sort of somewhat diagonally attach the thickest part of our stick and do a rounded bit on the end, and we can do some stick detailing decide that you like where your stick is placed, and you know that your stick sounds so funny to me. Stick looks the way you want before you start adding details. Always check first before you bother shading in and adding those details. Awesome. So we have one more thing to really draw in, which is going to be those arms reaching up. So our best bet for drawing this well is going to be to lightly, starting roughly here, go up and around. Don't go too close to the edge of your paper. Hopefully you've left room, and again, this is the optional step, so you can call it done, but there's still a couple steps that would be worth doing if you're gonna call it done and skip the arm part. So we'll get to that right after, so just hang in there. So surround your Pikachu. Pikachu, goodness. Mimikyu, you fooled me. You do look like Pikachu. Mimikyu would be pleased with this. Okay, so we've got two lines curving up and around, and I'm going to preemptively put in the design for the heart. Like he's holding a heart. So do one of those. One of those, I guess a little curve as if it's his fingers. And we can make these touch. I'm going to do a little heart in here. Now I want to make these kind of drooping. It's a Mimikyu thing. Droop. Droop, droop. And we're actually going to go back and add some droopiness. It's the best word I feel like I can use to describe this to Mimikyu. So we'll do that in a second. So we're just kind of planning those in. And I'm going to add some droops to Mimikyu's face. Droop, droop. And try and erase to add those in, because ultimately we want it to feel kind of like a fluid as one look. I'm going to add one here. Might make sense to erase the little section first and then put the droops in, perhaps. That's one way to do it. There. And we didn't add much for droopiness. I mean, we kind of made it wobbly. I'm just going to go back in and add a little droopiness here and there to the tip of the ear. Maybe some droopiness on the edging of his face. Okay, so we'll come back and maybe fix this up in a minute. Let's carry on with the arms. I'm gonna draw in this line darker, commit to that. Same with this side. Connect it to the droops. Now, to do the other side of the arm, start thin, as in close to the first line, and then it's going to get wider and wider towards the top. And then Mimikyu has fingers. His creepy old fingers, right? We're going to do one spiky finger, two spiky finger, and he's got three on either side that we're going to do and attach back to the first finger. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And while we're at it, we're going to draw little droops, goops and droops as we go, and some little ones. Awesome. Other side. I'm going to make these fingers just a little more pointed. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Narrow to thick. And these shapes are going to be a little bit forgiving as well. Like if you don't draw them perfectly, they're kind of abstract a little bit, so they can be a little bit forgiving. I'm going to change this. I'd like that one to kind of go up and down. That's going to affect the other one, so let's fix that up a little bit. Now you can shade in the arms if you want. I'm going to leave mine unshaded. Some droopiness to the heart. I'm going to shade in the heart though. We'll shade that. Now at this stage, take a look at it and say, is there anything I want to fix? Is there anything? I mean, we've been fixing along the way, but this is kind of your last chance, right? Because ultimately we do want to call it done. And not going to fix anything particularly, maybe just erase some of the guidelines and markings that I don't want that are still kind of showing, so clean it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. Sketches are not meant to be perfect. In fact, a lot of the time sketches look sketchy and it looks nice to be sketchy, right? And the final step is going to be to add a border. So I'm going to start by outlining Mimikyu himself with a dark border. Thicker the better, to be honest. I mean, obviously there's going to be a limit, but I prefer it to look quite bold. That really makes it pop. So I'm just going to go around the whole thing. Remember to follow the bumps that you drew in as you go around. I do make lots more of these kinds of tutorials, lots more draw-alongs. In fact, I'm doing a draw-along video every day for a whole year, and by the time I post this video should be day 5 out of 365. Long way to go, but it's going to be a journey and I'm excited to see what happens. Awesome. Okay, and let's add a nice thick border. Same idea to the arms. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and we're gonna call our Mimikyu done. Excellent job. Awesome work, you guys. Thank you for drawing along with me, by the way. You can use hashtag draw with Shyfoxx, there's 2 X's, on Instagram if you want to share your art with me, and you can also tag me if you like. And a reminder, I do upload new draw along videos every day, so subscribe, and please comment if you have a particular character you'd like to see me draw in one of these tutorials. I also have a pinned comment in the comment section that is, as I call it, a question of the day. So every video when we post it has a new question, sometimes on topic with art and sometimes just random stuff, just to get to know you guys and get you guys commenting as well. So feel free to join in on question of the day. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.